Namaskar. My name is Suresh Kochatal, and I'm here today to speak about the ongoing controversy of Nupur Sharma's comments made during a television debate. All of us over the last fortnight have been subject to relentless debates, relentless tweets, relentless comments on many forums about this entire episode. What did Nupur say that was controversial, and with people like Asaduddin Owaisi and others demanding her arrest? She said something that is mentioned in the religious text of a particular religion. So if Mr. Owaisi wants Nupur to be arrested, and if she is taken to a court, the judge will throw out the case in the first 5 minutes because he will ask only one question: what she said is true or not? And if the prosecution says yes, it was true, then so be it, then she can walk away free. But that's not the issue. The issue here is not Nupur Sharma. The issue is Narendra Modi, BJP, and the entire Hindu community. All you need to know is to roll back a few days into the Gyanvapi Masjid survey and the results of it. Today, we are not hearing anything about it. That was the second victory for the Hindu community, if you can call it that way, after the Ram Janmabhoomi issue. But moment Nupur said this, there was no controversy for first 5 to 6 days. But there was a toolkit at the back which is rolling out. People like Zubair, people like Rana Ayub, Sabah Naqvi, all these people were tweeting and tagging international Islamic organizations and governments of the Middle East. They were doing it deliberately because they knew that they had to target Nupur, and with it brush the entire Narendra Modi government as communal and Islamophobic. Now this, ladies and gentlemen, is something that we need to be worried about. There was another nation which faced this kind of threats, and that was Israel. A small nation boxed in from all sides by fanatical Islamic countries. But they know how to stand up. They fought their way through. And today, even the Islamic nations acknowledge their presence and have established diplomatic relations. The démarche that was given to the Indian embassies across the Middle East, 41 countries last I heard of, was all identical. There was no full stop, there was not a comma that was removed from the démarche that was submitted, say, first by Qatar, which everybody knows is a country that harbors terrorists. The ISIS and the Taliban have their official offices in Qatar. That is where they start. They have the Al Jazeera network, which is a part of the Qatari royal family, who peddle out fake news about India every day. Now, all of us think that it is Nupur who had to be responsible because she was a BJP party spokesperson. But having been a panelist myself in many news debates, I can tell you that the opposite side, quite often, people like Taslim Rahmani, Ilyas Sharafuddin, actually boil the issue up and make you react because they know that you will say something which will then become controversial. 3 years ago, I had walked out of a news debate on India Head News where Ilyas Sharafuddin was there. He made similar comments against Hindus, and I was very angry, and I just removed my microphone and just stormed out of the studio. The producers came running after me and came down to my car, which was just taking out from the studio premises, and requested me to come back on the debate. I said, I will not, until that rabbit guy is removed from the studio. Of course, he was not removed, and he went on to create more controversies. What I'm trying to say is that the entire thing is an attempt to tarnish India. Nupur just stood in the way. Narendra Modi is also in the way. Even I was angry with Mr. Modi the first day when he and his government buckled to the Qatari pressure. Predictably, I said that more countries will follow, and it did. But when I look back and say, okay, fine, must have been a reason why Narendra Modi, Amit Shah, JP Nadda, and maybe even Ajit Doval were a party to that decision. But ladies and gentlemen, we need to ensure that Nupur Sharma is not you and me tomorrow. I have faced this situation. I have a death threat against me. for which I had to go to the Supreme Court in 2018 and seek a protection. Many of you know that. But that's not the issue. If you don't stand up and fight for what is right, then the people who do wrong will be at your doorstep tomorrow. Please ensure that. Don't be a cat on the wall secular Hindu. You're not going to get anywhere, because tomorrow they'll knock on the door by the Islamists, as we saw last Friday in different parts of the country where violence was set upon and police were targeted. It will happen most probably next Friday again, because many of the governments are peddling to this Islamic organization just to get their votes. That's a tragedy of this country. The majority Hindu population never reacts when Lord Shiva is mocked by some in the movies. And we saw that again and again. Our gods are mocked, but we don't react to it. That, ladies and gentlemen, it is very, very dangerous, because we are going to see a situation where the Hindu community is going to get pushed into a corner because we don't react to things. I'm not advocating any violence or any sort, but we need to get aggressive. If you can't do anything much, at least put out a video like what I'm doing here. Write on the social media. Go on public forums and speak, but be very careful about what you speak, because everything that you say will be held up against you, no matter what you say. And that's what Nupur did. That day she was reacting to a mocking of Hindu gods by Taslim Rahmani, and she ended up being the villain. The actual villain was Taslim Rahmani himself. He, of course, today has a case against him, but Nupur will have dozens of cases in different Congress-ruled states. It's already happening. The problem with BJP is that it still thinks that it is in the opposition. The party has to realize that it needs to use the same strong-arm tactics that are used by the Congress governments, like the one in Maharashtra, like the one in Chhattisgarh, and their partners in West Bengal and other places. BJP has to get aggressive, defend their basic voting constituents. If you don't do that, like what happened in West Bengal, the cadres will desert you. And of course, the people who voted for you will also desert you. And also those turncoats who are looking for an opportunity to switch sides, they will also desert you. We have to fight. We have to fight a battle of survival. And we have done that in the past. The brave kings that ruled India in the past, from Prithviraj Chauhan to the Cholas to the Vijayanagar Samrajya, the hundreds and thousands of them, I cannot mention them there. But make sure that you defend yourself. Thank you. Jai Hind.